Yes, good afternoon guys, it's Jim from jagfx.com. It is Wednesday the 25th of July 2018. This video today is going to be on the high probability method. So I'm just going to go over it, explain the indicators, the setups, and go through a few trade examples. Probably just more of a rehash for most of you. As you know, the high probability comes from, would you believe, my MT4/MT5 high probability Forex trading method. This is my bread and butter trading method, my preferred trading method. Now the other book, Trading Forex with Divergence on MT4, MT5, is the exact same method, except it expands on it and explains the use of divergence when trading this way. So both these books use the same method, the high probability method. So what we'll do is I'll go into a MT4 platform here and I'll just explain the setup. Now I've just picked one of my favorite pairs, the pound yen. This is a daily chart. As you can see, there's nothing on the chart. So if you've bought either of those books, hopefully you've downloaded the indicators and the template and you're ready to go. So we're assuming that's all done. So what I'll do, any chart, just all you do to get a template, as we know, is just right click anywhere on the chart, look for it's probably called MT4 JagFX high probability or something along those lines. So just click on that and it'll bring up the actual template on the chart. Now what I've done, I'll explain the setup and what's on the chart, so you got a fair idea. We'll start with the simple stuff first. You can see 3 moving averages. Alright, so I'll just click on each one individually. The brown one, which is brown, what a great name, is a 50 EMA. So it's just a EMA, simple, straightforward moving average. The next one is the 100 EMA, the purple one. So we've got a 50 and 100 EMA. These are default indicators in your MT4 platform. The third one, the slate grey, the thick grey one, is a 240 linear weighted MA. So it's on the bottom of your list there, easy to find. These are all default moving averages. Just go into your indicator list, you'll find them in trend moving average. They're right there, easy to find. Alright, I'll start with the main indicator down the bottom. That's the MACD Platinum. Alright, so this is the inputs, you'll see it, 12, 26, 9, just like standard default MACD sort of settings. We don't change them. Zero lag. Now this is probably what makes it different to other MACDs. The zero lag is selected at true. Now you're probably wondering, and I probably didn't explain myself well enough in the books, and I've been criticised, and I sort of accept it. I know there's people out there that like to know the ins and outs of everything they put on their charts. They want to know how it works, you know, what creates the signals, etc. Me, I watch a TV, I don't care how the TV works, I just know it puts something on the screen, I can watch movies or whatever. I drive a car, I don't care how that changes gears, I know it works. Same with indicators for me, I know they work, I don't really care how they work, you know what I mean? So, but I'll try and give you a little bit of an explanation. It's not going to be a very good one, but I'll try. So I've brought up a website here. Now all I've done is Googled what is zero lag MACD. That's all I can do. And here's an explanation here. You can look it up yourself. There's a technical indicator that attempts to remove lag, whatever that is, in the moving average, the MACD. So you can read that, you can Google it yourself and have a look. I can't help you with anything other than that. It's obviously, lag is something that slows something down. It happens more at the time than instead of after the fact sort of thing, but I'm not sure what that whole in and out of it is. So we'll go back to the platform. So that's the MACD Platinum, zero lag is true. If you put it to false, I'll just show you. If you change it to false, you can play around with this yourself. It just looks like a standard MACD and it changes completely. I'll go back, just watch it when I change it to true. Okay, see, it changes completely. Other settings in there, you have you need that show markers on cross true. That's just the dots. If you don't have that, if you have that as false, those dots won't appear. So we need those dots. So keep that as true. And you've got pop-up alerts, which I never use, and push notifications, which I rarely use. So that's a MACD Platinum. Now the other indicator on the chart is a QMP filter. This is a combination of the MACD Platinum and the QQE Advanced. Now when you get any of my books and you download the indicators, a part of all the packages is the QQE Advanced, and I go to great lengths to say it's not required to be displayed on the chart, but you need to upload it to your platform for it to work. And what I'll do is I've just made up another template. I'm just going to change the template a bit, so I'm going to put the QQE Advanced on the chart with the template. So I'll just expand it a bit so it's easy to see. Right, this bottom indicator is a QQE Advanced. Another question I get is about the QQE Advanced, would you believe? So here we go again. Go back to my... Now this is a link I share with people up here. Don't worry about copying it. I'll put it in the notes below the video so you can have a look at it for yourself. This is probably the best explanation of the QQE I can find, and even though it's a slightly different, you can look at this diagram here. This is what mine's looks like, the bottom one. The actual web page here that I'm showing you shows this one, describes this one, which is a bit more advanced, a bit more bells and whistles, but it gives you a bit of an idea about the QQE itself and how it works. Way too technical for me, above my pay grade, but you can read that, and I'll put the link in there if you want. All I know is there's a couple of lines crossing, and that'll do me. So we'll go back to the chart. So this here is the QMP filter. All it is a combination of, so we'll look at this one here, green dot on the QMP filter. It's a combination of a blue dot on the MACD Platinum. So there's a blue dot there, and when that's confirmed by a cross on the QQE Advanced, see there's a cross, confirmed cross here, that presents that green dot. This is what these dots will only happen after the candle is closed. So the candle has to close. You won't see that dots, any of these dots mid candle. Same with the MACD Platinum. They will only appear once the candle is closed and the signal's confirmed. So that it won't appear and disappear halfway through a candle. It only appears once this candle's closed. Sometimes these happen together, the cross, and I'll see if I can find one. This one here is a good example. This red dot here, the red dot on the MACD Platinum and the cross happened all in the same candle. Same with this one, this next blue one happened on the same candle. Doesn't matter when it happens. There is times, normally the MACD Platinum will give the dot first. Sometimes the QQE will give the cross first. More than likely, if it's not on the same candle, the MACD Platinum will go first, followed by the QQE Advanced. Doesn't matter. When you take the signal, it could be 10 candles, which would be unusual. It's still a valid signal. So don't be too caught up in when they happen. So that explains. All it is, if I didn't have the QMP filter, which is these green and red dots on the chart, then what you would have to do is you have to get your little data folder out here, get your crosshairs up, and start trying to work out exactly when the cross took place, etc. So you'd be looking for the cross here, make sure it happened. You'd have to be looking for data on the left there, and it's just a real pain. So the only reason the QMP filter was built by me was to just so I can eyeball a chart and I can see green dot there. I know there's been a blue dot on the MACD Platinum, and I know there's been a cross on the QQE, and it just gives me a visual aid. And as you can see, it's a lot easier to spot with these dots on the chart. So I don't need this on the chart display, but like I said, I need it in my platform, on my platform. So it's got to be uploaded to the platform. Alright, so that's the gist of the setup. It's pretty straightforward. Now, I'll just run through a few things. The MAs on the chart are just to give me an idea of trend. That's all they're there for. There's nothing set in concrete, anything like that. You can see here how they're stacked, what I call stacked. They're the 240s at the bottom, the 100 and the 50. They're stacked to the upside. There's a nice steady incline, and I can look at the chart. You know, I don't really need the MAs, but I can look at this chart and say that's an uptrend there. All right. So what some people prefer, some traders prefer, they prefer to trade with the trend. So they would look at that. This say from in here, say for example, to this area up here. So between those two vertical lines, some traders would only take buy trades because they're trading with the trend. So they ignore any signals on the red dots and just look at taking signals on the green dots. See if we can find a downtrend. So here's a big downtrend here. Look at this. Some traders would only take the red dots, ignore the green dots. All right. So it's fairly straightforward. You can't. Pretty obvious. Pretty obvious. There's an uptrend here. Big uptrend. Takes up the whole page just about. Take the green. Ignore the red. That's just one way of looking at it. All right. That's just being very simplistic. So the MAs, they're just a visual aid. It's not a hard and fast rule where you only trade with them. I'll show you where you trade against them. Or they could be, let's have a look for, say in here, super flat. See how they're flat in there? You can trade either way, it doesn't matter. But there's other rules we'll go into in a second. So I wish there was a zoom in, zoom out, sort of halfway between this one and that one. That one's a little bit too tight, the other one's a little bit too wide. No pleasing anyone, is there? All right, well, let's move on. So the MAs are just a guide, basically, all right? And one other thing I like about the MAs, say I like when price comes back to them. So, for example, see we're in an uptrend. There we go again. We're in an uptrend here. You can see the MAs are spreading, and they're stacked in an uptrend. See how there's a blue dot here, sorry, a green dot, which would possibly be a buy signal, but there's other rules we've got to look at. I don't particularly like taking. See how price is away from the MAs. There's a big gap there. I like it when it comes back to the MAs. So this is probably a good example here. See how prices come down. So you call that a pullback or a retracement, whichever way you want to look at it. Here's the green dot here. That's a better buy signal for me because prices come back to them. Here's another one, prices come back. See if I can find some. Here's another one in that area. You could say on the downside, that one there and that one there. That's good. This one, even though it's come close there. It's probably not ideal. We'll see if we can find other examples. The majority of the time, as long as it gets close, you'll see what I mean. But all right, we'll go to the end of the chart here. All right, so we've got the MAs. Sorry about that. We've got the MAs, so they give us a guide as to trend. All right, again, not a hard and fast rule. Now the main part about this whole system, this whole method, is the MACD Platinum. This is probably the most important part. And it's a little bit opposite to how you would normally think, but I'll just try and explain it. If we get a red dot on the MACD Platinum above the zero level, this dotted line along here is the zero level. We get a red dot above the zero level. Generally we're looking to sell. So we're looking to sell if there's a red dot above the zero level, and if there's a blue dot below the zero level, we're looking to buy. So what I'd say is think of this MACD as a bit of a rubber band. The further it gets away from the zero level, the more it wants to come back to it. It always meanders around the zero level. You can see it here. Sometimes it gets tight, like a lot of indicators. Here you can see it. Look, it's up over the zero level, back under it, up over it, back under it, then under it, then back over again. So it sort of meanders around that zero level. Does it all the time. It could be on one side for a long time, but it does go back to the zero level. Always. You can go back in history and have a look. Everywhere. So what we're saying is if there's a blue dot below the zero level, then I'm looking to buy. I'm not necessarily buying, I'm looking to buy. If there's a red dot above the zero, I'm looking to sell. So that's the gist, the whole main concept of this MACD Platinum. Now, you can probably see this, the signals already on the chart, right? So here's what you call your high probability type setup, this one here. We'll just use this as an example. Prices come down, look at the MAs. We're in a downtrend. The MAs are starting to fan out. They're stacked in the right order to the downside. We've got a green dot on the QMP filter here, and we've got a blue dot on the MACD Platinum below the zero level. So remember, that sort of tells me to buy, and that green dot you can assume is a buy signal also, which means the QQE is also crossed. But why would you take a buy trade there? There's no reason to take a buy trade there at all. You'd be fighting into the trend, against the trend. There's nothing else supporting it, and I'll go into more detail on what I look for when I do take counter trend trades. But at this stage, that is not the trend is down, I'm not taking that signal there. So price keeps on going down, and obviously hindsight, we're looking at charts, historical charts here, so I can see what's happened to the right. It wouldn't have been a very good trade, obviously, but then eventually goes good, but that's neither here nor there. So what's happened now, you can see how the MACD is heading up over the zero level down here. Now, when it gets up towards the MAs, like I said before, it's getting very close to the MAs. That's good. That's what we're looking for. You got to remember, trends don't go in a straight line. They go, like if a downtrend, it goes down a bit, then pulls back a little bit, down a bit, pulls back a little bit. In a perfect world, it should probably go down, say 100%, pull back 50%, go down 100%, pull back 50%, go down 100%. Just your basic sort of, or your fibs, or that's in a perfect trend. And as we know, no trends are perfect. So what's happened here, price has gone back to the upside. MACD is now above the zero level. So without even seeing the red dot, I'm now looking for sells because it's above the zero level, because I know it's got to come back down to the zero level. So here we go. Now this is a good one because we've got the red MACD dot and the red dot on the QMP filter at the same time. So to me, that's an obvious sell signal there. So these will be confirmed on the candle close, like I said. So on the open of this next candle, you take a sell. And look at that, nice down, geez, what am I on, daily chart? That's a huge move. But anyway, so that's a great sell. Now, so that's a great sell trade there. Now, as soon as we get below the zero level here, I'm starting to look for buys already, or a reason to start managing a trade. As I said before, as soon as we get below the zero level, we're looking to buy. Now there's no blue dot all the way down here, and price keeps on going down. Well, this time though, because we're through the zero level on the MACD Platinum, I'd be a bit of trade management, maybe close out half the trade, move my stop, something like that. So, there's many ways to manage trades, many ways. But that is a telltale signal that it's time to take some action. You could even probably do it on this, when the actual little blue dotted line crosses the zero level, start looking to tighten up your trade. So anyway, the price keeps on going down, going down, going down, going down, nice low. And here's a good example, blue dot on the MACD Platinum. Looking to buy now because we're below the zero level. We're against the trend though. You can see trend's still down. Now, I said before, there's ways I look at counter trend trades or trading against the main trend, and the only way I'll do it once I get a confirmed signal is if I've got some sort of divergence. Now, that's why the second book on the high probability method, the divergence book, was brought out. So here, let's have a look. We'll run over some divergences. I'll just use a blue aqua line for all of them. In my screenshots you see me posting on Facebook and in the books and that, I use green for bullish and red for bearish, but I'll just use the blue, saves me changing the colour all the time. So here's our price, it's gone down. You can see here's our low here, gone up, here's our next low, so it's a lower low. And look at this on the MACD Platinum. There's your low there, so you can put the crosshairs on, there's your low roughly in that area there, doesn't matter, just has to be in the area, which is spot on. And there's your next low there. So price has had a lower low, and the MACD Platinum has had a higher low. So they're going in opposite directions. So there's divergence there. So to me that says that there is what we call here regular bullish divergence, which is basically means that if the trade is successful, you are trading against the trend. So it's a counter. If you've got regular divergence, it's normally a counter trend trade. So here I'd be happy to take the buy signal on the open of this candle here and trade it up towards the MAs. All right, doesn't look like much, but that went nearly 600 pips. Again, once you're through the zero level on the MACD Platinum, start looking at taking the next. It will take in some sort of action to get your stop to break even, closing out half, something like that. Remember, you're trading against a trend here. You'd be watching this trade a lot closer than you would be watching that trade. There's more chance of this one failing than this one here. So but that's a counter trend trade. All right, again, price comes up, you get a red dot on the QMP filter and a red dot on the MACD Platinum. The MACD is above the zero level. That's a sell. Take the sell on the open of this next candle here. Your stop would be above the high somewhere, and that's protected nicely. Even though we've got a blue dot on the MACD Platinum here and a green dot on the QMP filter, that wouldn't even be considered a buy trade because the blue dot is above the zero level. We're only looking for sells above the zero level. So that one there, oops, where is it there, is not even a valid buy signal. It would have to be below to even consider it. So we just ignore it basically. And if you wanted to, there's another sell signal there. You can see the red QMP, another red dot in the MACD Platinum. You could add to that trade, take another sell trade there. If you were still in the previous one, you could add to it. And right now we've got a buy signal in here. You can see the MACD is below the zero level, and we've got a green QMP dot. Now, would you take that trade? Only if it's a counter trend trade still, so we'd have to look for divergence. You could look across possibly here. So let's see what we've got here. Yeah, it's going all right. We'll just move these trend lines a bit. Again, there's divergence there. See, lower lows on price and higher lows on the MACD Platinum. Take the buy trade, trade it into the MAs. When I'm trading against a trend like that, a couple of things. You'll notice the MACD Platinum goes through the zero level, take some action, maybe close out half, move your stop, tighten up the trade, then just let it go. Gets to the MAs, great place to take some more profit, tighten up your stop, because that's where I expect it to turn. And you can see, again, hindsight, another sell trade. Take the sell, this one's not so good. Come down here, we get a blue dot. It does go through the zero level a little bit, the MACD Platinum on the blue dotted line. It might be at times getting a little bit tight there, time to maybe tighten up your trade, put a stop, bring it down, close half, do something. And here is not a valid buy signal, even though we've got a blue dot, it's not below the zero level. And now you can see that the price is starting to sort of flatten out a bit. That downtrend seems to be losing a bit of momentum. But we watch it, we watch it, we watch it. Now what happens here? We got a red dot on MACD Platinum above the zero level, So we're in sell mode. We're thinking sell. Anytime we're above the zero level, we're thinking sell. Anytime we're below, we're thinking buy. Here's a red dot, but no red QMP. Price is going up. Gets to the 100 EMA. Look at that. Next candle. Nice bearish candle. Red dot in the QMP filter. Take the sell. Now I'll just take that one step further. You can probably have a look across here. Not sure what we're going here. So we've got possible divergence. Let's have a look. Yep, certainly have. So we've got higher high on price and a lower high on the MACD platinum. Divergence. Take the bearish divergence. Take the sell there. Look at that. Through the zero level. Take on the MACD platinum. Take some action. Keeps on going down. Now you get a blue dot here on the MACD platinum. Remember, we're looking to buy now. Get a blue dot there. I'll be looking to tighten up the trade completely. So bring your stop right down, or even close out, if you depend on how much you've got on the table. You know, how you can scale out. If you can scale out more than once, great. You know, scale out another third or another quarter or whatever however you're trading. I can tell you that one there, that big candle there, 24th of June 2016. If you were in a pound trade then, you need your head red. That was Brexit, so that'd be a time to get out of all pound trades. So we'll just move on a bit. I'll just find another part. So we'll get away from Brexit. That was just a nightmare. I was in Cambodia on that day watching it, and you know, let's move on. All right, so now here's a sell signal up here. There's your red dot in the MACD platinum, and the MACD platinum slowly starts to roll over without the red QMP dot. You can tell that something's going to happen soon, and bang, then we get the QMP, the red dot. Now look at the MAs, they're up. It'd be a trade I'd be reluctant to take. I can see in hindsight it's a good looking trade. What I'd be looking for against the trend, I'd be looking for some sort of divergence. There's nothing obvious for me, so that trade for me would be, I wouldn't take it. Not saying that obviously looking at it, it'd be a good trade to take, but not for me. So let's move on. So I've got the MAs are up. Here's a blue dot on the MACD platinum, so looking, it's below the zero level, so looking to buy, but nothing doing there because there's no QMP dot. Here's another blue dot on the MACD platinum, still looking to buy, but nothing happening. Price gets down to 240 LMA, bounces around a bit, eventually gets up. Look at the MACD platinum, still a blue dot territory. Get that, bounces nicely around the 240 LMA, green dot on the QMP filter. That's a trade I would take. You stop a bit below the low somewhere, so you take it on the open of the next candle, and look, it does go against you, but we're still below, even when that little pullback here, the MACD is still below the zero level. So we just move across the crosshair a bit, and look at that, it takes off in our favour through the zero level, around here somewhere. Tighten up this trade, scale out, move your stop, get in the no lose position. Up, up, up she goes. Red dot on the MACD up here. Might be a good time to take some profit, lock in, tighten, because now I'm expecting this to roll over, which obviously you can see it does. I'm looking for sells now. So if you're in a buy, tighten it up, tighten it up. And here we get a sell. Again, we're against the trend. Now this one's a little bit interesting. There's no obvious divergence because basically that low. But what I would be looking at here is, to me, that qualifies as just about a double top. Just something I look at these days. Double top, a resistance level. I'm not sure if it's even a strong one. If I go back in the chart at all, I could even probably make a case that it's go left here. just tighten up the chart and zoom out and have a look. You know, like, to me that's strong resistance level, and that's the signal we're looking at there. That's the signal we're looking at now. So I would be taking that, even though it's against the trend. I like that resistance level. Your stop would be up above the high somewhere. Just keep out of sight. I know it's hindsight, and I can see what's happened to the right. Appreciate that, but that's a good signal for me. Take the trade and look. Just look at the MACD as I move my crosshairs across. Doesn't really get to, what did I say? It's against the trend. Keep an eye on price getting to the MAs, which is a good time to close out, and the MACD cross the zero level at the same time. Tighten it up, tighten it up. There's a buy signal here. Now this is a little bit interesting. I've just drawn this trend line across here. Here's your buy signal here. Price has come back to the MAs. We're in an uptrend. The MACD is below the zero level, the blue dot. We've got a green dot in the QMP filter. It looks like a setup, and without looking to the right, I'm not sure if I'll take it. And the reason, there's a couple of reasons why. One, there's not much wiggle room to that obviously strong resistance level. There's 175 pips, which is not much on this pair. The other thing is, the MACD platinum is not that far below the zero level. See how these ones are a fair way above the zero level? That's what I prefer. So look, this is, if I took it, I might not take a full risk trade. I might take, say, if I was taking 2% on a trade, I might only take 1%. You know, it's still a valid signal, don't get me wrong, and I can see what's happened to the right of me. So your stop would be below the lows here. Take it, and look, it sort of meanders a bit and drops, and you'd probably be stopped out. So if you took it, you'd be a loser, guarantee you. Now there's a red dot here, and the red MACD is below the zero level, so it's not even a valid sell trade. If you were still in this sell trade from back here, you can probably run that down, depending on how you manage that trade from that resistance level. But we get down here, now we're looking for, we've got blue dots below the zero level. Now we're looking to buy. Nothing happening, nothing happening. Technically we're still on an uptrend because we're now below the 240 LMA. The MAs are still stacked, even though they're tightening up and flattening out. And by the time we get to the green dot on the QMP filter, the MAs are pretty tight. So that they're not an obvious downtrend. So I'd still consider it a valid entry to the buy side. And if you want to look across to the again, look across to your left of your chart. You could probably make an argument that's a resistance level, a support level, sorry. See how prices come down, gone up, come back down, very close. That just helps confirm. I would take that trade there. No problems at all. Take the buy trade, and once we get through the zero level, which is here, you can probably tighten up, and even if you got to stop the break in, you get that run up to the top there. Now, once we get up here, we're looking for sells. There's our first red dot, blue dot. So we can assume that if we're still in this buy trade, then up she goes, let it slide, and we get a red dot up here. Against the trend though. I'm not seeing any divergence. I couldn't take that trade. There's nothing convincing me to take that trade. Just looking back now, no divergence. That's a higher high, higher high. Nothing there, so I'd ignore that. I've got a few pips. Here we go. Prices come right back towards the MAs. You can see we're in an uptrend. We've got a blue dot below the MACD platinum, and we get a green dot on the QMP filter at the same time. It's come very close to the MAs. Buy signal. Take the buy on the open the next candle. Stop below the lows there. Price meanders along. Doesn't threaten your stop at all. And eventually, here we go. Get this red dot. Still below the zero level low, but you can see we've got a big bearish candle. Yeah, that probably I'd be out of that trade. I can see what's happened to the right, obviously, but to me that's just a signal that things are changing. It's not a valid sell signal. I can't even yet. So we're out of that trade. And as you see, if we'd stayed in, it would have stopped us out if it had to stop below the low there. But here we go. What have we got here? So here we go. We've got another we've still got blue dots below the zero level on the MACD, so we're looking to buy still. And here's another buy signal there. So valid buy signal, prices come back into the MAs. The MAs are up, take the buy signal without any too much risk. Stop between the lows. You can even make an argument, and this is something again I'll be looking at. Another support level across those lows roughly. Oops, sorry about that. Sometimes the trend lines are a pain. So yeah, like across those lows, look at that. Bounced there, came back down, spiked down, bounced up. Take the buy there, stop down here somewhere, and off you go. This is the daily chart. So you get the idea. It gets a bit tight and flat in here. You'd be looking for things like double tops if you're going to trade against this trend. Divergence, there's probably divergence there, but you're not going to get much. Say for example, you could even make an argument. Divergence. Let's see how close the MACD is to the zero level. Not really instilling too much confidence in the trade, but you know, you could have taken it down to the MAs there, 210 pips roughly, or 200 pips on that sell there. The buy, you could, it's not even a good buy trade, that dot there. Price did come back to the MA back here, but the blue dot's not below the zero level. Not convincing, so that would be one. This one here is a better one. Price has come back to the MAs and it's gone up there nicely. You can just see how price moves. All right, what I might do is I'll just go to an hour chart and I'll get it there. Template. All right, so here we go. This is the same pair on the 1 hour chart. So we'll just look at a few different examples. I'm sort of bogging down a bit. It's probably taken a while, but there's no rush, I guess. Again, look at the MAs. We're in a downtrend at the moment. Previously in an uptrend. You can look at, you know, just have a look at this. MACD's below the zero level, green dot, beautiful trade. MACD's below the zero level, green dot, beautiful trade. MACD's below the zero level, price has come back in an uptrend, green dot, nice trade. Just happen all the time. Don't know why. Even like a downtrend. Look at that. MACD's above the zero level, red dot. MACD above the zero level, red dot. Same here, even there, that's sell trade. This one here would have been a loser. It's not perfect. Downtrend, you can see the MAs are starting to spread. Downtrend, MACD above the zero level, red dot, QMP. Another one, if you considered that, MACD price come close enough to the MAs for you, bang, take it. Uptrend, same thing. MACD below the zero level, blue dot, green dot, the QMP, take it. Nothing there because we're still above. Probably stopped out in that one if you took it. I don't think the price come back to MAs far enough. Certainly here came back well and truly to the 240, sort of bounced up there, end of the week by looks. Downtrend, same deal. Just take the sell trades. Take the sell trades. Easy. They're so obvious sometimes. It's, I know, hindsight. We're looking at a chart, historical chart, and this is a good pair. So all right, let's just have a look at another pair then. We'll pick a dog of a pair. Euro pound. I consider this a dog. It's a slow mover. Let's see what we got here. See how MAs are flat. Hard pair to trade. When the MAs are flat like this, take trades both sides. Look, here's a good example. Here's a look. MACD's below the zero level. MAs are flat. Green dot. Take the buy. You just got to keep it tighter. MACD's above the zero level. Green, red dot on the QMP filter. Take the sell. Take the buy. Take the other buy. Take the sell. You're going to get stopped out. No system's perfect. This is the euro pound. This is a real hard pair to trade, but you get, look at these moves. Buy down here, sell there, probably get stopped out. All right, here we go. This is what I want to show you. Let's just put a vertical line so I don't lose that there. All right. Now, say we got on the sell. We took the sell on this open of this candle here. Got a red dot there. We're above the zero level. MAs are tight. Want to take the sell, but we get stopped out. Say our stop was say across here somewhere. So we're definitely stopped out. But as you can see, this sell signal remains valid. Look at that price. There's still a red QMP filter dot, and the MACD has still got a red dot. So it's still a valid sell signal. So what you start doing then, if you wish, you've already been stopped out, just draw a trend line across some lows. Doesn't have to be precise. I always say with my trend line drawing, as long as you're consistent. I tend to go across the bodies of the candles, not so much the wicks. So draw a trend line. You've still got a valid sell signal here, and in here, price breaks the trend line. You might not be that keen on that candle, you might not be that keen on that candle, but look at that little bearish candle there. Take the sell, re-enter it, still a valid. Put your stop now, put your stop up above here, above the previous loss. Make the entry there, make up that previous loss. Look at that, big nice trend down, break of a trend line. You've got a couple of hours to get your trade on, no dramas. Just draw a trend line, re-entry, valid signal, remains. Right, here's a buy signal. MACD's below the zero level, take the buy up to the MAs. It's valid, goes a long way actually. Here's a sell signal here, stopped out. I'll get rid of these lines. This is a pair I'd be reluctant to trade, but I'm just showing you how buy signal goes against you, but your stop would be down here, goes up nicely. Sell signal, if you're going to take it, you could say there's a double top on it across here somewhere, or a resistance level, which even continues on along here. Have a look at these things, just go left, have a look left in the chart, you know, like sell into the MAs, close it out. Buy here, probably your stop would be below the low, which is here. You would have got a few pips there, up to that high again. Sell, might be an ugly one to take, it's a big move down. You could, look, that'd be ugly. You're taking it right into the 240 LMA, something I wouldn't do. Buy signal here, there's your below QMP. I know it's getting close to the zero level already, still take it up that line, get a few pips. Ugly pair to trade, but it's still, look at that sideways action, it's a hard pair to trade. I know I haven't gone too much into the divergence. I probably should do another video. I think I've got more recent videos on divergence, but let's have a look at another pair, something that's a bit more friendlier. Oh, we'll have a look at the euro. Everyone loves trading the euro. I must be probably the only person on the planet that doesn't, but let's just have a look, see what we got on the euro. This is the 1 hour chart. Well, let's even go to the 4 hour chart. Something different. Then look at 4 hour charts. Look at MAs, super tight in here, flat and tight. There's your, that's probably an ugly example. I'm trying to look for terrible sort of setups. So here's a buy trade here. Stop, your stop would have been down there, stopped out. If you took the buy there, you would have been stopped out, I would assume. But this is followed up by another buy trade not long after. And you could even consider that one. You'd be backed up by some sort of divergence there. Look at that. I can spot it already straight away. Price is going down, MACD's going up, bullish divergence. Take that buy there. That one you got stopped. Hang on. So you lost 55 pips roughly on that one. On that previous buy, you made 110 pips on that one. So you doubled your loss if you. Yeah, I'm just using an example. I'm not sure what your trade management will be like, but I tell you it'd be a good place to get out, because look at that previous high there. As soon as you get up to it, it turns down again. It's just things you look at, guys. You know, just look at the charts. Get on these historical charts. Now that's the perfect sell setup there. Look at that. back to the MAs, downtrend, MACD above the zero level, down she goes. See, these are ones that aren't so good. See how, even though it's a valid sell signal, MACD's above the zero level, red QMP, see how price hasn't gone anywhere near the MAs. I'd be taking that because you're with the trend, but it'd be a less risk. Instead of risking say 2%, I'd only risk 1% or something like that. Same with this one. Looking, you know, they obviously worked out, but that's just the way I look at them. This is a 4-hour chart in the euro. You can see here's another one that you would have been stopped out on. Say you took this sell here. I can tell you there's a green dot there. There it is. You took this sell here on that candle there. So your entry would be in this area here. Take the sell. Your stop would have been, say, above that high there. Now, this is the trend. So you stop in this area here. You can see that price went against it, stopped you out. However, this sell signal remains valid. That red dot, there's no green QMP dot. There's no, look at the MACD, still a red dot there. Here we go again. All we do, have a look across the lows. We've stopped out, price is going up, just draw a trend line somewhere. And as you can see, we're still a valid sell signal. Here's this trend line, I've drawn the trend line. Price ducks around here on this bearish candle, you could probably put it, and the thing is, you probably have your stop, say, across here somewhere. You may get stopped out in that spike up. That would be a real bummer. You generally have your stop a few pips above, so your stop would be something like that, or maybe even a little bit higher. So you take the sell, you make up that loss in there, still a valid sell signal. Take it. So I'm just going over this, so let's have a quick look. See, anytime you see these double tops or anything like that against the trend, have a go at the trade. Take the trade. Lower risk, put your stop up above the highs and take it into it. They're everywhere. Let's have a look. See, here's a divergence. I'll just move this. You'll spot these divergences when you get practice. So we're going, look at that, big divergence. So price is heading up, MACD's heading down. So that's a bearish divergence, that's a regular bearish divergence, so it's a counter trend trade. Take the sell in there. Have your stops above the high, take it down to the MAs if you want. Then you follow up with that double top across here, take it down. Just start there, look at that, even that one there, there's double. This happens all the time in the higher time frames, like especially the 4-hour and the dailies. These sort of double tops, a counter trend trade, take it. If you want to get technical, you could probably say it's divergence there, and look at that, divergence. Now, one thing I want to mention, again, you'll see here, the red dot is below the zero level. If you have divergence, that's not an issue, as long as one of the dots is on the right side. Could be the first one, could be the second one. In this case, it's the first one. It's above the zero levels. That's a valid sell signal. And with the divergence, we've taken the sell there. All it does is just takes away some of your trade management advantage. That's all it does. So that's still a valid signal, but I'd be using that as a double top there. Take that sell. Look at that. I know, hindsight, I'm looking at a historical chart. See, there's divergence in there. With the MACD Platinum, you'll see divergence everywhere. Everywhere. It is everywhere. Even look straight after. Oops. What am I doing? There we go. There to there. And that's the beauty about having these dots everywhere in the chart, whether it be price or the MACD Platinum. So simple to spot the divergence. Here's another one against the trend. You can see it going the opposite direction. Alright guys, this video has probably gone long enough. You get the idea. Problem is I go into a lot of these videos with not many charts prepared and I sort of wing it as I go along. But probably one other thing, if I don't want to bore you too long, I don't know how long this one's been going, you can get access to my JagFX RD, which is this indicator here, JagFX RD 1.00. That's available in the Facebook group. You can just, it's in the files folder of the Facebook group, or you can just email me at admin@jagfx.com and I'll get it to you. Now all this does, RSI setting, RSI period of 4, put OK, and it'll put these orange and blue lines on your chart. Now just be careful, it looks good in the historical charts, but these lines will readjust, which means they won't repaint, they won't disappear. Well, they do disappear, but they don't disappear completely. So what I'm saying by that, if you get a blue line and it's confirmed, you'll see it on the chart, it may just readjust to other candles. The blue line will never disappear, it'll just move to other candles. I'm going to do a video showing that on the simulator, but I use it to give me a clue which way to take trades. So you'll see that on a lot of my charts. JagFX RD, I'll go into more on how to use that in other videos, but mate, this system, and this is what I suggest you do with the high probability, just get on the historical charts and look for setups. I know you've got a bias, but these dots do not repaint, they're always there. Just look at that, up, buy, getting pips. That's license to print money there. This is on a 4-hour chart. You know, if you see, there's an example. It's come down, hasn't come down far enough, close enough for my liking. MACD blue dot is just below the 0 level. Even though in hindsight it's a good looking trade, you've got a few, it's not a trade I'd take. Even this one here, I'd be reluctant to take that too. And as you've got a few pips, but nothing major. But this one here is much better. See how prices come in, and that's a much better trade. Some people are just happy to trade with the trend. Others want to do the counter trend trading. I think people's psyche is made up that they like to trade against things. So anyway guys, I hope that helps with the high probability. I'll try and add a few links in the description of the video, and obviously everyone's more than welcome to join the private Facebook group where we go through these setups every day, look for trades on the daily charts and some other lower time frames. So yeah, it's a good setup. It's not the holy grail, don't get me wrong. I'm showing you all the good setups. I'm trying to show you some bad ones where you get stopped out, etc. But anyway, thanks for watching. It's a long video, I know, sorry about that, but that's it. And if you like my videos, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Cheers.